What is up, guys? Derek from Not So Gaming here, and today we just got a huge update from Riot on the organized play for Riftbound, the League of Legends trading card game. Um, let's get right into it. Before we begin, we have to talk about this concept of organized play level, which is something that they brought up today, which is they denote by OPL. What this does is it helps communicate the expectations to the players and judges. And by labeling these events this way, it tells the players and the judges how strictly to treat the rules, policy, and procedures, and the violations and the penalties that those violations warrant. And the three different levels that they have denoted are casual, so this is like a low OPL level, competitive, which is a higher one, and professional, which is the highest level of organized play level. And we'll get into exactly what events kind of fall under these in a future slide. So for casual, this is going to be where you're focused on fun and social interaction. This is where there's going to be low rules enforcement, which this is not to say that there's going to be no rules enforcement, but this is where players are expected to know the rules and play according to them, but with a focus on learning good sportsmanship and not on very, very strict technical play. So this is where, like, if somebody plays something out of order or they forget to draw, there isn't going to be like a huge warning for them or a game loss. You're just going to be able to go back, correct these issues, and do this in the name of learning how to play. And these are going to be your events such as locals, which Riot is calling Nexus Nights is what they're specifically calling these. Your pre-release events, which happen a week before a set drops, not the first set, but for future sets, all of these events will have pre-releases, which is going to be like a sealed or a draft level event. Pre-con battles, this is their way of doing like structure deck tournaments. If you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, you buy a structure deck and you play with just that. This is how they're going to do their first event for local stores, is going to be these pre-con battles. And then we haven't learned specifically what the side events are going to be at some of these larger events, but they specifically called out that there will be side events, and I can guarantee that at these tournaments there will be some more casual level side events, such as these pre-con battles, drafts, sealed type things. The next level of play is competitive. This is where there'll be significant rewards, including invites or advantages to professional level events, and we'll get into what those different events are in the future. Players are expected to know the rules and maintain the integrity of the game state at all times, but there still needs to be recognized from both players that everyone may not be used to playing at this peak level of technical play, and still allow for some I forgot to draw, I forgot to channel my ruins, that kind of issue. But the violations for those will have stricter penalties, such as warnings and game losses, if you are to keep forgetting those pieces of the game. And this is going to fall under our summoner skirmishes and our regional qualifying events, which we'll talk about. And then lastly, professional. This is where these events include significant rewards and prestige. Players are expected to know the game and the tournament rules completely. Players are meant to maintain the highest standard of behavior. This means no yelling, screaming, getting up and yipping and yeeing just for no reason. And everybody must maintain precise technical play. This is following the ABCD to a T, not drawing out of order instead of channeling your ruins, because if you do it in the opposite order, there's going to be a warning, or if you keep doing it, you're going to get a game loss. This is where if you like attack, you have to do the chains and priorities and focus correctly. And for any of these violations, there will be a lot stricter penalties than in the previous two levels of organized play. And this will be your regional championships and your world's championships. Moving on, we have our first look at what the level of these events are going to be. In the future, this could change, and we already have this organized play level, but we've gotten a lot more information about specifically what these events are going to contain. So firstly, we have our Riftbound demo events, and they all say at Dave's TCG. This is just their example of saying where this event is going to be taking place. Take this at Dave's TCG and put whatever your local store is as whatever that event would be. So for the Riftbound demo events, this is a casual OPL. So this is that first level that we're looking at. These are learn to play events hosted by your local game stores. And these are currently ongoing, and your store may be doing them now, they may be coming up, depending on if your store received the demo decks to show this game off. I know that my local game store received the demo decks from Riot, and they will be hosting this demo event coming up. And these are also happening at larger conventions like Gen Con and stuff. The Riot team is there teaching the game for people to get involved and learn how to play. Next, we have the Origins release. So this is the drop. This is the drop of the first set, which is coming. We know it's October, but we don't know exactly the date. This is where this release event is going to be, where you can purchase a pre-constructed deck, which are Jinx, Lee Sin, and Victor, and you're going to be able to battle the other players and learn how to play Riftbound. In the description of this event, they said that there will be other ways to upgrade those decks. As of right now, we don't know specifically what those are going to be, but I assume based on how other games have done these release events where you get a pre-constructed deck, is you may get your pre-constructed deck and 3 packs to upgrade your deck, or this may be a sealed play or a draft. We don't specifically know exactly what this other ways to upgrade your deck is going to be, but this is our first official event in your local store other than that demo event. This is going to be the release that comes this October. Next are the pre-release events. So what they have said is this is going to happen 1 week before each set releases, but not Origins, so not the first set. You're going to be able to play with the new cards before they officially release, and these are going to be either draft or sealed play or just a regular tournament. And I think this is a great time to talk about specifically, we have now exactly what the sealed and draft play are going to look like. And just to cover some of it, your deck is going to be 25 cards, which is a lot less than your 40 that you're used to. You're going to be able to use 3 domains, so 3 colors. And then if you decide to use a legend, so one of your main hero cards, 2 of those domains must match that legend. However, you do not need to use a legend, and you can just use 3 domains of whatever. Any signature spells in your color identity can be used. If you don't have a Lee Sin in your deck, you can still use the Lee Sin signature spell in your deck. If you do not use a legend or a chosen champion, you draw an extra card at the start of your first turn. This is kind of to even the playing field where you don't initially have that chosen champion, or you don't have a legend effect that's happening continuously or every turn or whenever it triggers. So you get an extra card from your deck to kind of even that playing field. Your sideboard is going to be your entire card pool. So when you're doing these sealed and draft play events and you want to go into your sideboard in between games, or at the end of a match you can change your deck up based off this card pool, you can change your entire strategy. The way that they have described this as, if you have your chosen champion and you don't want them, you can side in a different one, or you can change your entire deck in between games if you really want to, but that would be really annoying, and a judge is going to come and tell you to not do that. So that's what we have for the sideboard. The limits on cards do not apply, so if you open 100 of a certain kind of card, you could play that, but you're not going to open 100, but just an example. And then for battlefields, you're going to use any battlefield in your pool, or you don't have to use any of them. You can use what they're calling blank battlefields, which are just face-down cards that have no effect. So it denotes a battlefield that you bring to the game, but it has no effect. So we now have blank battlefields being able to be used in sealed and draft play. This is not for constructed events. You can bring blank battlefields. Our next type of event is going to be the Nexus Nights. So this is going to be another casual organized play level event. And this is your classic, local level event. This is going to be weekly, store dependent on what day you actually want it. The store can decide what format they want to be per the store preference. This could be like a constructed one-on-one. This could be a 2v2 night. This could be a free-for-all night. And this is going to be whatever your store wants to, whenever they want during that week. And then the prizes for this are going to be 3-card packs, which include promos. So this is going to be similar to Yu-Gi-Oh's OTS packs or the Astral packs that they have had in the past, which are just different upgraded rarities and things, and promos of the cards that are in the game. So that's going to be the prizes at your local level event every week. Next, we have the Summoner Skirmishes, and these are going to be similar to if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! This is going to be like your OTS store championships. So this is going to be a local level event. However, it's the local level event that is considered competitive. So the rules are going to be a little stricter, and people are going to kind of come with better decks. These happen twice per set, so 1 month after each release and then 1 month before the next release. And we also have gotten news that there are going to be 4 sets per year, so that means that there are going to be 8 events of these happening per year. And then the prizes for these are a participation promo for just playing in the tournament, a top 8 promo if you top 8 the event, a champion playmat if you win the event, and then a round 1 bye at the regional qualifiers, which are the next event that we're going to look at. So for the next event type, this is going to be regional qualifiers. I know it says Atlanta, but that's them just denoting that it's going to be in a different city than what maybe your local game store is. So if you're in something like, these may be moving around. So this may be, there's one in Toronto, there's a couple in New York City, and they may bounce around the country. And these are going to be your competitive level regional qualifiers. So the first one that they're having is December 2025, which is only 2 months after the game releases. There is no qualification required to go to this event, and the prizes will be cash paper. So we've gotten word in the past, but now we've confirmed the prizes. So there's going to be cash prizes for this. We don't know what those look like, if it's going to be big, if it's going to be small, but we do know that there will be cash prizes. There is a participation promo, which is going to be something that they give you just for walking in the door and playing. There's top 8 promos if you top 8. The best of prizes. This is something that Riftbound has done that really no other card game has done. And this is if you come to the event and you're playing a deck that may not be super meta. So say everybody's playing the tier 0 or S tier deck, and you come with a lower tier deck like Garen, and you're like, I just want to have fun. I love Garen. He's my main, and I just want to have fun spinning and winning, right? And you are the best Garen of the tournament, you are going to get a best of prize. We don't know what that is, but because you came and you played a deck that is Garen and you did the best out of all of the other Garens at the tournament, you're going to get a prize. We don't know what that is, but that's something cool I've never seen done, and it also allows people that want to play like more roguey decks but still want to play at a competitive level, they can do that and come and get these best of prizes. And then the other piece is you get a regional championship qualification. We don't know what the top is that going to be, top 20, top 4, top 16. We don't know what those championship qualifications look like, but that is another prize for topping these regional qualifiers. Moving up, we have the regional championships. So this is going to be something similar to like a YCS level event. So this is something that's taking place for like the whole country. And when you come to this, this is going to be your first professional level event. So the first event of this is going to be taking place in October 2026. Qualification is required from the regional qualifiers. Prizes, we have money prizes again for this. Participation promos, top 8 promos, best of prizes. And then if you do a top of this, we still don't know what that top percentage is. You get an invite to Worlds. Next is the World Championship. So this is your professional level event. The first event of this is going to be 2027. Qualification is required. There's going to be cash prizes as well as they have stated additional prizing. We don't know what that is, but it could be every game does something different. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Gives like a Switch if you win, or prize cards, or really fancy playmats. We don't really know what that is specifically going to look like. So those are the events that we have. Other news, so this is some other stuff that we got today. So like I said previously, there's going to be 4 sets per year. So we can assume that's going to be every 3 months there's going to be a new set. We have confirmation that there's going to be a format rotation. So starting in 2028, the 4 oldest sets are going to rotate out of the game. And some people are not happy about this. I know that a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not have a rotation. Just every card that's ever been printed is legal unless it's on the Forbidden and Limited list. But games like Magic the Gathering in their standard format does have a set rotation, which I'm kind of okay with. I like that a rotation happens. It keeps the game going. it changes up the decks that everyone's playing, and it doesn't require them to, like Konami does, ban every card you have so you're forced to buy the new product. And speaking of bans, they have said that they will never use banning to shake up the meta, but if there is a card that is just completely detrimental to the health that escaped their play testing, they will potentially ban that card. But they will never just be like, hey, the game's getting boring right now, we're going to ban some stuff to shake things up. They have said that they're not going to do that. In terms of the actual game structure, we now have that the higher level events are going to be best of 3 matches, which, yay, I'm happy. I don't really like best of ones because if you play against some like cheesy deck and you're just not set up for it, you can lose. I think this game goes quick enough that best of 3 matches is going to be fine. And we also have an 8-card sideboard, which, yay, I also like. Coming from Yu-Gi-Oh!, having a side deck is really nice, and being able to, you know, if you go up against some cheesy deck, you can kind of play cards to get around it. In the first few sets, it's going to kind of feel unnecessary because of how the power level hopefully is a little lower. But as time gets on and maybe the power level starts to kick up and you have some of these more crazy cards that they're going to print, I'm just coming up with an example. This 8-card sideboard is going to be really nice to kind of make sure that your deck is playable in games 2 and 3 of those best of 3 matches. Because, like we say in Yu-Gi-Oh!, you play more with your side deck than you do with your main deck that you sign up with. You get to play with the side cards more. So the 8-card sideboard is going to be really nice to move things in and out. Note-taking is legal, so coming from a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player where note-taking is illegal, this is going to be something kind of interesting, where if you look at your opponent's hand, like, you can write down what they have. They have a ton of rules based on this note-taking, so you can hide your notes from your opponent, but if a judge asks, like, can I see your notes, like, you have to tell them, and if they ask to, like, explain something, you have to explain it, which is something cool. You cannot carry notes over match to match, but you are able to take notes previously. I don't know. There's a ton of stuff on this. It's in the organized play tournament guide if you want to go look at it, but note taking is legal and there are rules associated to it. Alters are also legal. As I said with note taking, there are rules associated to what makes alters legal. Obviously, the card cannot be warped in any way, so if you slather a bunch of paint on it and becomes thick and unplayable, that is not going to be legal. You cannot block the mana on the card. You cannot block the card text and effect and things like that. But if you want to put a mustache on Lee Sin with a Sharpie, like, that is legal to play with. But the head judge of the tournament will be able to tell you if a card is playable or not. And then lastly, we have our end of match procedure, so time rules. So the way that it works is when time is called, you finish the turn, and then if no winner is decided in that turn, you do 5 additional turns are completed to determine the winner. At that point, if nobody has won, you look at the highest points, and that person wins that game. And then say it's game 3 and you have both won and you win that one, you win the match. Or say that you won game 1 and they won game 2 in time, it would be considered a draw. Another thing that I have on here that I was reading about that is not, I didn't write here, is that you are legally allowed to draw with your opponent, intentionally draw. I know in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you can't just sit down and be like, do you want to draw, yada, yada, yada. Like, you kind of have to play into time and be like, oh, like, wow, I think we should draw. But in this game, like, you could sit down and be like, hey, I want to draw. However, they have stated down under, like, the cheating and, like, the fraud section that if you sit down and you're like, hey, I'll pay you $10 to draw with me, like, that will get you disqualified from the tournament. But you are allowed to intentionally draw in this game. Yeah, and that's kind of it. I mean, this is just a really quick video that I whipped up. I just wanted to talk about, like, the different levels of organized play. I could make a video that would be like an hour long to talk about all of the different tournaments procedures that they sent out today. It's like a 36-page document. I read through the whole thing. There's some pretty interesting stuff in there, like the alters and the note-taking part and the best of 3 matches. They also have a judge program that as we get closer to the set release, they're going to kind of talk about. they have said that the judges not only will be like the head judge and the judges at the event, but also are going to kind of be a symbol of somebody that knows the game and kind of is driving it at their local level. So that's kind of interesting. Like if you become a judge and like you're really liking the game and whatever, people are able to come to you and be like, hey, I want to learn to play. And you're going to kind of be that person to drive the game forward in your LGS. And at this point where we have so many card games out there, we kind of do need those individuals to push us through to make this game successful. Because I know like my local game store has about 100 different card games that they service. Obviously there's the big three, but I feel like every time I go in there, there's a new card game that has dropped, and these games need to do everything they can to make sure that they are successful at the local game store level. So having this judge program where you kind of are like a symbol of, hey, you're the local hero, or not hero, but you're the local judge, is going to be kind of cool. But yeah, with all that said, thank you. Subscribe, like, comment below. I think this is all great. I don't think I read a single thing that I was like, ew, I don't like that. As somebody that comes from a lot of different competitive card games and has played at all different levels in the past, I was extremely happy with everything that they decided, from the casual level all the way up to the professional level differences that they made. I think that there were a lot of cool things that they put in the tournament guide, so I'm very excited. Very excited. I could have read this stuff today and just been like, hey, this is terrible. The organized play looks like garbage. But no, it's the exact opposite. I am extremely happy and cannot wait to see what they do in the future. Derek from Not So Gaming, have a great day.